All right, we are live and let's jump into the show. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Paradise. You are listening to Green Dudes, the only Green Day podcast that matters. You are here with your host. That's me, Connor Mack. And as always, I am here with my best buddy in the Green Day verse. I'm a Green Day comrade in arms, my BFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFF How the freaking heck are you doing today?
Hey, man. I'm better. I'm way better than I was last time. Uh,
Good.
you might recall on our previous episode, our holiday special, I was kind of recounting my holiday woes
Yeah.
because I ate some bad tofu and I was throwing up and shitting all over the place.
You were, yeah. It was coming out both ends
Yeah.
pretty vigorously. Um
Yeah, yep. And I'm happy to report that it's all out of me. Whatever was in me is no longer in me. It is now out of me. I'm
that's
feeling much better.
it's fantastic to hear.
Yeah.
Um that whatever parasite entered has passed.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not something that's kind of like just grown dormant and is just inside of you until it's
Right.
reactivated at some later time, because that would
Right.
be bad.
Yeah. No. Hopefully, it's not lingering
Yeah.
um and will reappear at some undetermined point in the future. Hopefully that moment has passed.
Yeah, I mean,
What can you
I
do? You
what
know.
can you do? You just have to, I mean, at this point, you just wait and hope, cross your fingers that this doesn't,
Yeah.
uh, reoccur. Because I have heard there are some bugs, some parasites that they burrow into the crevices of your body and, the inside of your body, little crevices, um, and there's like a trigger. It could be years from now where there's a smell or a sound or a taste
Right.
or you know a word even that
I well,
activates
I
this.
I can tell you what, Connor,
Yeah,
I'm never having silken tofu again. So if
yeah.
that's the trigger, I feel pretty confident that I'll
I
be
think
avoiding it.
that could be the trigger.
Yeah.
That damn yeah, I think we call it the silken worm. The
Yeah.
silken worm.
Yeah, no, that makes I've heard of silkworms before. So
That
it
must be it. Actually,
yeah. I mean, there's an obvious connection. So,
is that a band? Silkworms.
um, maybe.
Yeah,
Probably. It would be a good band name, right?
good
Silk.
band name. I thought okay, so I was at an engagement party last night,
Yeah, that's nice.
and there this wasn't used, but I saw it in the kitchen of the home that I was in.
Mhm.
uh it was this thing called the heart waffler,
Hmm.
and it's just a waffle maker that can make waffles in the shape of a
A
heart,
heart. Yeah.
which is really cool. But I thought Heart Waffler would be a really great band name for like an 80s like hair metal band,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Could you like pour some sugar on me kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might not be too late to kinda do a bit of a revival. Maybe that's the route to
Yeah,
go.
I mean, we could even pioneer the hair metal revive. I mean, the thing is,
We'd be a little late. We'd be behind, like,
yeah.
what, the Darkness. They do
Oh
that
shit, yeah,
kinda
that's been well, but well, no, we could do like we could do the hair metal revival,
that's right, the post-revival.
the post revival, yeah. So we could. So I mean, it's like it's cyclical. So I think we're kind of coming up towards that point in the cycle
Yeah.
again. So I'd be okay with that. The only issue is like I don't think either of us are good enough at
No.
guitar to like shred like that.
No.
But the thing about hair metal is that it's like very fake and very flashy and stuff. So we could even just like just pretend to play guitar
Mhm.
and have backing tracks,
Mhm.
and like I wouldn't feel bad because it's hair metal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that might be cool. We could really kind of, like, fulfill the promise of Van Weezer in a
Yes,
way that I
yeah.
just in a way that I just don't think they really leaned into. So,
No, they
maybe that could
didn't.
be us.
That could be us. Yeah, we could be the Van Dudes, the Van Green Dude,
Yeah.
Heart Waffler. Um, anyways, Connor, we're actually smack dab in the holiday season still. One holiday passed. That's Christmas.
Mhm.
We have it's come and gone. So I like to hear, Connor. How was your Christmas time? Do you know anything to report? Anything of note happen over the holiday for you?
Well, it was a nice time. Got to see my family, my wife's family. We kinda do, like, 2 separate Christmases, kinda celebrations.
It's kind of like the movie Four Christmases, except minus two.
Just 2 Christmas, right, 4
Yeah,
Christmases minus 2.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was nice. Um, got some nice gifts, got some whiskey glasses, some nice
Ooh,
whiskey glasses. Couple other odds and ends. Played backgammon with my uncle. He crushed me. He is an excellent backgammon player.
yeah. That's
Um,
I mean, I know nothing about backgammon, so
you're not a backgammoner? Never played backgammon?
I'm not a gammon guy. Not a
No.
gammon guy.
Yeah.
Um,
What about checkers? You ever
checkers, yes, yes. There was a period of time where I really was into checkers, and it kind of was always a thing where you know I never even tried to play chess
Mhm.
because I always felt like there was a rivalry between the chess and checkers communities.
Yeah, and you kind of firmly planted your flag in the checkers side of things.
I did, and it was very similar to like the roller bladers versus roller skaters
Yep.
tension there. So yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm not smart enough to play chess. Like I
Yeah,
could learn how to play for
right, no, but
sure,
you
for
made a
sure.
you made a decision
It was a conscious
to
decision.
to abstain from chess.
Yes,
Nothing to do
yes.
with your mental prowess, nothing like that.
No, no, nothing like that. Um, but I mean, kind of so obviously, your plan probably is you're gonna practice backgammon every waking hour, so you can so next year when you regroup and see your uncle again, you can beat his ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to practice some more. Him and I, usually whenever we get together for holidays, we'll play. So we also played a game during Thanksgiving. He beat me then too.
All
So
right.
we kind of have like a fun sort of like uncle nephew
Yeah.
backgammon rapport. Him and
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like maybe no matter how much you practice and no matter
Right.
how good it's never gonna happen. It's just you're
Yeah.
not gonna reach his level.
Yeah, that might be, and there's almost I think there'd be like almost a kind of sadness if I won. It's like, there
Yeah, yeah.
that's like part of it's almost like part of the tradition is to just get, creamed
Yeah,
in
it's
backgammon.
true. And I
So
mean the fun part is like you're not just letting him win.
no, yeah, no,
Like
he's
you're not gonna make it, you know?
yeah, it's probably true. What about your holiday, my friend? Did you
Oh,
get up to anything interesting?
yeah, I did have a holiday.
You did, yeah. That's
Same
that's
day as you, I think.
great to hear. That's
Same
really
day as
great.
you. It was the 25th. Yeah, I went to my uncle's house for Christmas
Nice.
dinner.
Played some checkers with
Didn't
him.
play any checkers or
Oh,
chess. We're not a
too bad.
game playing family. We're just not a
Yeah,
game playing. We've never played games like that.
yeah.
And that's a very common thing for families to do over the holidays. Like I was over my girlfriend's family too. We played games there, you
Mhm.
know. it's always been weird to me. I'm like, I don't know why we just said we're just not the game playing type.
Yeah. No,
We just like,
I know that about
yeah,
your
of
family
course you
though. I
do.
mean, and yeah, and it's not just you. It's not like
No,
it's not just any one person. It's like everyone in your family just kind of quietly agrees. Like, what's the fucking point?
yeah,
What?
exactly. What's the point? What's the point? It's not gonna make any difference to. But but no, I had a good. It was a good holiday season. We only talked about politics a little bit.
Yeah. Wow. Thank God
So
for that.
that was cool. And I was gonna ask you though, did you get any Green Day related items for
Hmm.
the holidays for Christmas?
Yeah. Good question. No. No, I did not get any Green Day gifts this year. I have gotten Green Day gifts in the past, but this was a Green Day-less year in terms of gift receival.
Yeah. Um,
What about for you?
I did. I got one Green Day thing.
Mhm,
Which I mean, like you, like there have been years in my life where like Green Day stuff was all that I got.
mhm.
Um, which those were the best years of my life. Probably like when I was like 13, 14, 15. Um, but no, this year actually was kind of funny because my girlfriend's sister is a teacher,
Mhm.
kind of like you
That's
actually,
right, but
kind of
not
like
even
you.
yeah, not even kind of anymore.
Yeah, you're actually you're
that's
officially a teacher.
officially pretty much kinda what I do.
Pretty much it. Well, anyways, they were giving away books, or they were like throwing away books at the school. This is like very depressing to say.
Yeah.
Um, but they were like giving away and throwing away books from the school library,
Mhm.
and one of the books they were gonna just throw away, crazily enough, was a Green Day book, and I'll show it to you right here. It's look at this bad boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's Green Day Keeping Their Edge by Matt Doden.
Oh. Is
So
it like for an elementary school kid? It looks like it's kind of a short read.
what the fuck? What?
It looks like it's kind of maybe kind of like
What?
a more kind of like an introductory sort of level read
Yes.
right there.
Yes. No, yeah, it's from an elementary school. um yeah, it's from an elementary school. Um and yeah, it's like it's like one of those books they there was from our day there's like a million of these books with it's just like you know the history of Green Day with some pictures and stuff and um but I mean it's kind of fun to have
Yeah.
in my collection now.
Well, I do
Um
think it's kind of funny, like, because I get like making a more involved, maybe like a investigative kind of book or like chronicling the history or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but there is something kind of amusing to me about like basically a Green Day kids book, and it's
Yeah.
because uh I don't know. It's like, are you is there like the parent who's kind of sitting down with their kid and they're like, this is gonna be like their exposure to
Yeah.
Green Day, or
This is the
or
story of Green Day.
or is it for, young kids getting into Green Day and this would be like an accessible kind of read for you? I'm sure it fits both of those
That's kind
things,
of my
right?
thought.
But
Like, let's see what I think it came out in '07. So this kind of it's right after the American Idiot era.
mhm,
So like if this was around in '05 when I was getting into Green Day and I went to the library, like I definitely would have picked this up and read it. Um so I'm actually kind of appalled that they're getting rid of it.
yeah, well,
I
so
I
that
I hope the only reason that that's happening is because they have an updated version that they've just received.
yeah,
Um
probably. Probably so.
which chronicles, the beginning to the end of the Saviors tour. I'm assuming that's what.
That's got to be the reason, right?
I think that's got to be the reason. That's the only thing I can think of.
Otherwise, I don't know why you. But it's cool that she had you in mind for that book. It was like, oh,
Well,
this is
it
just
is.
him thrown out.
Yes,
I know someone who
that's
might appreciate that.
that's
That's
very
cool.
nice. That's very nice, and it's also like it also just like goes to show like just how obnoxious my personality is. That like you're
Yeah, right.
that she knows.
Oh,
Like
pretty much anyone who's known you for longer
yeah,
than 10 minutes
yes,
has to be
yeah.
aware on some level that you're kind of debilitatingly into Green Day.
It's
So,
true. It's true. I mean, and that was even actually that was a discussion at Christmas dinner at my uncle's. We were talking with my cousin. We were talking about our top artists of the year on Spot. Well, they have Spotify and I have Apple Music. Um, and my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, my top artist was John Denver."
mhm,
And then she's she's like, "My number two was Green Day because it was just because of me."
yeah,
That wouldn't have been the case if I wasn't forcing it on her.
right.
And, and then I was like, yeah, my number one was Green Day, and everyone was like, yeah, we know. Like,
Right. No one even was gonna ask you.
no,
Like,
no, it was not a revelation to
yeah,
anybody.
that's
Um,
it's been number one since 2004. So,
yes, exactly, yeah, yeah, but no, I mean, overall, a good, it was a good holiday, I think, and
mhm,
you know, I think next episode the first episode that we do in the new year, I think it would be fun to do some Green Day 2025 predictions. So maybe we can start thinking about that. Um,
sure.
so makes make a Green Day 2025 bingo cards and see
Hmm.
see what we can
Oh yeah, let's do that.
check off.
Let's
Yeah.
make the official Green Dudes Green Day
Yes.
2025 bingo card.
What a great idea.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm
Um,
sold.
So today, of course, we're back in the saddle here, and I'm using cowboy terminology like that because, of course, we are talking about Green Day's country song, "Pulling Teeth."
Yeah.
Their one and only country song, where when they perform it live, every time Billy Joe wears a cowboy hat and dons an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Um, no, that's only happened a couple times, but I'll never not bring it up.
Yep.
Um, yeah, this is a good one. It's kind of it's another unique one in their catalog, certainly unique in Dookie, in the context of Dookie, I think.
Yeah.
Um, let's just dive right on into it. Um, Connor, I know Pulling Teeth is pretty beloved by you.
Yeah. It's a long time favorite of mine.
Yeah. Do you happen to know the origin of the song at all?
Mm, no, I don't.
So, uh, this one does kind of have a fun, well, kind of a fun story. Um, and just like Green Day, lore as a whole, like we don't really know how true any of this stuff is, other than like the band said it once, or and then some of it maybe has been embellished uh by fans over the decades.
Mhm.
Um, but the story goes that this song is about a pillow fight that Mike and his girlfriend at the time, Anastasia was her name, um, according to the legend. They got into a pillow fight. Mike ended up breaking both of his elbows.
Wow. How does that happen?
How does that happen? That's the question. And then Billy Joe took that information and he wrote "Pulling Teeth" as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, she's beating this guy up kind of song.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that. So that's an interesting bit of Green Day history for you.
Yeah, that's the common wisdom. And of course, you know, the songs, the like the lyrical content of the song kind of paints a less fun picture of this relationship. Um, and so, you know, I think over the years, fans have like embellished it. They've been like, this is about what when Mike was in an abusive relationship with the woman who I think ended up becoming his first wife. Um, so who knows? Maybe it lies somewhere in the middle because it's like who breaks both of their elbows during a pillow fight?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of that, Connor?
No,
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know if I'm just dumb, but like I'm kind of struggling to think about like breaking your elbow at
I know.
all
Just
because
breaking your elbow.
your elbow is like a very solid and like isolated piece of bone.
Yeah,
Uh, it's kind of made to like not be broken. It's like not saying you can't break it, obviously, but like breaking your arm, some other bone in your arm, I'd be like, okay. But your elbows and both of them, I mean, like, is Mike somehow just like landing on both his elbows and they just like shatter? Like,
yeah.
what, what are like the circumstances that lead up to that? And what even constitutes a broken elbow? Like, it's hard for me to kind of visualize, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I do kind of feel like the only reasonable uh story, answer would be that yeah, like they were uh pillow fighting
Hmm.
and then yeah, Mike just like falls and somehow lands on his elbows. So yeah, I mean, I it's it's very questionable. It's like one of one of Green Day's history. It just it doesn't quite add up, but
I'd like to ask him about it. You
I
know,
would too. Yeah,
like Green Day, they have all these interviews, and I feel like a lot of interviewers, yeah, I don't want to be rude, but I think a lot of them kind of squander their opportunity.
oh yeah,
And they're
big time.
just kind of lobbing them these softball questions,
Hmm.
oh wow, what is like so what this dilemmas about like struggling with your addiction or whatever, like tell us more about that. And Billy's just like, oh great, this again, oh great. Like,
Yeah,
come on. I get it. A lot of interviews they're giving. It's like the idea is that this is to promote, something during an album cycle or whatever. But for the love of God, somebody ask Mike about his fucking broken elbows and pulling teeth. It'd
yes,
be
yes,
fucking just 60 seconds. Come on, do your research.
absolutely. I mean, there's even even if it's not about the elbows, there are so many things in Green Day's history that you could ask about that are like big questions that need to be answered.
Hmm.
Does Trey actually only have one testicle? You know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
is
Uh,
is Trilly real? Has it ever
mm,
been real?
hmm.
Many such big questions need to be answered. This is one of them.
Yeah.
Um, Connor, going back into your mind's eye,
Mm.
rewinding the tape of your existence, pausing on your boyhood, maybe 13
Yeah,
years old when
don't
you're
want to go back too far, right?
don't want to go back too far. Don't want to get no. We don't want baby goo goo gaga Connor. That's not that's we've
Yeah,
got that's too far back.
right.
He wouldn't be able to tell us. I mean, what would he wouldn't be able to tell us shit. He'd be like,
He wouldn't be able to tell us, but we have speculated that Goo Goo Gaga Connor may have listened to songs off of Dookie inadvertently,
yes,
just
true.
given the
Yes,
timeline of when
given the
this album
timeline,
came out.
that's very
Uh,
true.
but
But going
yeah.
back to your first experience with Dookie and with this song, in particular, Connor, what did that boy think of pulling teeth?
Well, you had mentioned that this song is a longtime favorite of mine, and that is true. And I think for whatever reason, that's been true for a long time. Like, it's not that, at some point over the years, I was like, "Man, this is like a sleeper hit," or like it grew on me, or kind of feels like I always liked Pulling Teeth from the moment I heard it. And um, when I zoom out a little bit at like other songs that I like, Green Day and otherwise, especially as like my music taste kind of developed in my later years, it makes a lot of sense to me that Pulling Teeth was a song that I gravitated towards because it has this, melancholic kind of feeling to it, um, while still maintaining this kind of upbeat momentum. And I think that even back then, even when I was first listening to this song around like, yeah, 13 years old or so, um, like it was that very thing that resonated with me. And maybe even is why I kind of like um that feeling or that kind of style in other songs now. I'm not sure if I'd be able to pinpoint kind of an earlier time or song where I'd be able to say that I was exposed to that. I kind of feel like there is sort of like this old Americana, um, down home sort of uh, country rock vibe that the song really does have, even though I don't think it's in a gimmicky kind of way that I've always liked, and I do think has kind of even led me to like things, even like the Menzingers, where they do a lot of uh a lot of overlap between like that punk style and then also um sort of like that down home Americana, um almost like bluegrass sort of rock. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but I've always liked this song.
Yeah, me too. I think for me, and I do get the kind of Americana influence there. Although I do really feel like it's more subtle than a lot of people like to say. Because for me, this is really like a through and through power pop song.
Hmm.
With the emphasis on the pop, and so I think that this was like kind of one of my first exposures to just like straight up power pop, um, unabashed, uh, like love for those sweet, sugary melodies,
Hmm.
um, and we'll get into the harmonies, of course. But yeah, so for me, I've always really appreciated this song. But I mean, it's maybe actually it has been like underappreciated for me, maybe until maybe the last um 5+ years. There's somebody moving in upstairs that's uh they're literally moving in right as we speak.
That's
So
fine. That'll be cool to
yeah,
hear every now
it'll
and
be that'll be some fun behind the scenes
then.
um info for you can update the Green Dudes wiki and say, oh, this is the episode where if you listen close enough you can hear people above Connor Mac moving shit upstairs. um yeah, but Connor, bringing it back to the present day. um we are now in the privileged position of having heard this song live, not once but twice, at least.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I'm curious how your take on the song has changed over the years. Obviously, there was a moment in time where Billy Billy, he dusted off his old cowboy hat, put it on, and kind of made a farce of this song. I know that really that really grinded your gears.
Yeah.
So I want to hear that journey.
Yeah, but that was at, like, some festival, I think, right? They were
Yeah, that was a Reading Festival,
yeah,
2013.
and they pulled out those big foam cowboy hats, those comically oversized
Yeah.
cowboy hats, and
Yes.
he did, like, a little jig or something while they're
Yeah, he
well,
shaked his booty a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, it's not that I was upset necessarily, but I
Oh,
felt
you were
like
fuming. You were fuming.
I felt like, that I felt like this is a song that doesn't get its due, really,
Yeah.
and it's not something that they often play live, and so I felt like, at that time, I'm like, "Oh, it's cool that they're playing this song." I wish that it didn't seem like they felt like, they had to do it with, like, this grin on their faces, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
isn't it funny that this is like the Green Day country song?" And yeah, I again, it's not even. But yeah, I guess I just wish I was like, man, just play it straight because I think you have a great song on your hands, and I don't know. You know, Green Day's always been a band that likes to have fun on stage, and they'll take songs and use them as opportunities to maybe be a little more theatrical or have some fun with it. Obviously, something like King for a Day is like super bombastic and over the top,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but they've been known to play around and kind of wink at the camera, and I don't really have a problem with them doing that with pulling teeth necessarily, but it felt like because they just had not really been playing it, I was like, man, I wish that it wasn't used as kind of like a with a wink and a nudge. I'm like it because I think it's just a great song. I'm like you could have just played it, and
Yeah.
that is what ultimately happens. When we go to see them on the Saviors tour and we see them play it, they play it straight. They don't take a little left turn, and yeah, they didn't have time, obviously, but
That's a good point.
I appreciate that it's just incorporated into the set, just like anything else as they were playing through Dookie. Um, so that was really nice.
Or they took your advice, they took your criticism to heart and said, Connor Kelly is right.
Mm.
We're taking the song for granted. It's not a farce. It's a pretty damn good song. Let's play it straight this time, guys.
Yeah, yeah. They maybe they did.
Yeah.
They really could, and I know now more than ever, our voices are carrying across the Green Day sphere.
Yes. Yeah. Because I mean,
So,
I do think we've talked about this pulling teeth dilemma on podcasts before the Saviors tour started, so they had time
mhm,
to listen and rejig the set for us.
yeah,
Which yeah, thankfully they did. So thanks guys for listening and taking us seriously.
yeah. Just like the
As
song deserves to be
just
taken
like the song.
seriously.
Yes. Yeah, we're not a farce either. Green Dudes is a serious piece of art.
Next episode, we should just start with two giant cowboy hats on our
Yeah.
heads and just go through the podcast. Yeah, but anyways, no, this is a song that I very much love to this day, and yeah, as with a lot of these songs on Dookie, I don't feel like I have any like new revelation necessarily, but I do think that there's kind of like a deepening of appreciation for it. Like
Yeah.
the more time passes, the more I kind of reflect on how many times I've listened to this song, how much I've enjoyed it over the years, and it's a nice feeling to return to something and feel like what, it still rocks to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. I couldn't agree more. Um Yeah, so let's kind of dive into the song a little bit. Actually, before we do that, I did have see this is one of the great things where the Green Day's history is a gift that keeps on giving
Mm.
for me. Um have you ever put in any thought where like why this song is called Pulling Teeth?
Um, well, I mean, a little bit because like if you're that's an expression used to like you're trying to get someone to do something, I think usually, and it's like very, very difficult. So you're
Yeah,
like describing a situation in which oh, getting so and so to do this is like pulling teeth. It's like fucking agonizing. And I guess I just felt like it's meant to mirror the, kind of like um abusive sort of relationship in the song. Yeah.
definitely. No, it definitely is. I think that's true. And also, it seems to be an homage to there's a Metallica song called Anesthesia, and then parentheses Pulling Teeth. Um, which I've never listened to that song. It might be about some a kind of abusive relationship too. I'm not sure. But this is like something I don't really know is confirmed or not. But I've just read a bunch of people saying that there's this connection, and it does seem legitimate to me because Green Day and Metallica, they're both from the East Bay. They've been friends for a long time. Um, and This song is about a girl named Anastasia,
Oh, and like
like
anesthesia.
anesthesia,
Oh yeah, I see.
anesthesia.
Yeah.
And so then they use the name Pulling Teeth. It seems to be kind of an homage to the Metallica song. Um, Now I'm really no Metallica fan. But have you ever heard that? Have you heard this song by Metallica? Do you no?
No, I'm not.
Now jumping from metal bands to another metal band, Connor. I know you are a big Slipknot fan.
That's right. Love the
That's
knot.
correct. You love the knot. You nut for the knot, as they say. Well, the front man, Corey Taylor, is a big Green Day fan apparently. Um, and so Pulling Teeth happens to be one of the songs that he has covered multiple times.
Like
So
as Slipknot or just like kind
no,
of a
just
solo.
as Corey Taylor, yeah. It
Yeah,
would be
gotcha.
very it would be really funny actually
Yeah, right.
watching Slipknot in their costumes covering
Yeah.
Pulling Teeth. But here I just want to play just a little bit of Corey Taylor playing Pulling Teeth for
Okay.
you and
Yeah.
get your thoughts on it here.
Please do. I'm nuts for the knot after
You
all.
as am I. I mean, who's not nuts for the knot? Here we are. Here's a bit of Corey Taylor playing Pulling Teeth.
I'm almost hanging on, broken bones and messy guts. Accidents will happen, but this time I can't get up. She comes to check on me, making sure I'm on my knees. I do hope she's the one who will need this day. Is she on
Now, I would say, Connor, all that's missing in this performance is a cowboy hat.
Yeah, or I think it would be cool if they had like the Slipknot costume on,
It would be cool, actually. Yeah, that might improve it. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a taste of Corey Taylor's version. Apparently, this is a song he's covered multiple times, so that is pretty cool. What are your thoughts on that, Connor? Any feelings on Corey Taylor or Slipknot?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think from what I heard, there's a good cover.
Yeah,
it seems like just by picking that song as like the Green Day song you're going to cover, I think it says a lot. But I think you can tell even by the way they're playing it that they definitely have like a love and respect for
Yeah,
for the song, for the band. Um, so that's I think I definitely have some respect for like that being the song of choice, because obviously that's not gonna be the first song to spring to mind when you're thinking about Green Day covers. So
or
I
Slipknot.
definitely, or Slipknot. So yeah, I definitely, I think it speaks to their appreciation and knowledge of the band. It seems
Absolutely. I think Corey Taylor is on record saying that Green Day is like one of his favorite bands. So
they. I wonder if Green Day is number one on Corey Taylor's Spotify Wrapped.
maybe so. And then he's at his family Christmas
Yeah,
dinner, and they're all like,
right.
"We know Corey. We
Yeah,
know it's
right.
Green Day again. We get it."
God, Corey, listen to
Um,
something else for once, please.
um, and then I mean, okay, if Slipknot did do a full band Green Day cover, what song should they cover? I have my pick.
Um, you have your pick, man. Um, mm, a Slipknot cover.
A Slipknot cover. Do you want me to go first?
Is it gonna be Fuck Time?
Oh, that's a good one, but no, I'm going with Take Back,
Oh, yeah,
which is a bit stereotypical, but they could pull it off.
yeah. No, they. I'm sure they would do really very well. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yours is Fuck Time.
I mean, yeah, why not? I could just throw out a Green Day song title and
Yeah,
call it a day, but I don't really have, as nuts as I am for the knot. I don't know what I'd be dying to hear.
yeah,
Maybe just the full band version of Pulling Teeth. I think that'd be a cool kind of
yeah.
worlds collide kind of thing.
That would be pretty rad. Now jumping back into Green Day's iteration of this song, Connor. Let's dive into the song a little bit more in depth here. Um, it starts off with the guitar, which is the which I don't know why it's like such a simple way to start off the song, but I really love it. And
Hmm.
it's also kind of a unique way to start a Green Day song. We've talked quite a bit about like their uh their kind of like their most well worn song intros. And I mean this does kind of fall in the realm of like, oh, guitar, and then the full band comes in, but it's not really the same. It's not
Hmm.
playing the song signature riff and then the band kind of coming in and trade, bopping the snare or whatever. It feels like a bit more of a subtle intro. So I mean, it feels unique to me. You get that kind of like really sharp guitar tone right away, and then the band just kind of fires in. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, and I agree, right? It's not just as simple as yeah, doing that introductory kind of riff. So there's a bit of a twist on it, and I think it works really well for this song. Yeah, it's just one of those things. As like short and simple as that is, that like it does feel like it kind of primes you for the rest. Like
Yeah,
um it's such a small touch, but the song would feel different if you cut that out. You'd be like, well,
yeah, definitely.
where did that like 1 second of music go?
I know
it
it
shows how much of a difference I think something small can make.
definitely because yeah, it would feel weird just going in with a like that just doesn't seem right to me.
Hmm.
So and it kind of like I don't know, it just makes me feel like that's the sound of like teeth being pulled. I don't know why, but that's like the image in my mind when I hear that little intro.
Yeah.
But let's stick with the guitar here for a little bit. This is another example of like a great Dookie guitar tone.
Mhm.
And really kind of a showcase for Billy not just doing the power chord riff thing. Because there's a lot of nice kind of subtle guitar work throughout the song that I really appreciate. And I feel like maybe this is, something that Corey Taylor can appreciate because I feel like this is kind of like a songwriter's song, if that makes sense. I feel like other songwriters can really appreciate a song like this. Um, what are your thoughts on the guitar work, Eric Gunner?
Yeah, I like it quite a bit, and I think it's definitely the a large chunk. It's at least half of the reason why the song does kind of have this melancholy sort of vibe to it. The other big thing is, you know, Billy's singing and the lyrics and all that, but I think the guitar is the other like kind of 1-2 punch for giving it that sullen um vibe to it that I think like makes the song feel unique and interesting. And before you were saying how, you consider this to be like a really strong power pop song, and I agree, but I do think that when it comes to like very broadly that kind of like country feel that a lot of listeners identify in this song, Um, I think almost all of it boils down to the guitar and just
Yeah,
those like notes that he has ringing out the da-na-na-na,
yeah,
da-na-na-na. Just like that kind of repeated sort of like ringing out and like overlapping that with with the main riff,
mm,
the way that kind of rings out in the intro and rings out in the outro, and I to like for me as a listener, I almost feel like that's the secret weapon is just that repeated ringing out, that really like soft but somber sort of like echoing kind of notes that just sort of like linger and hover over the rest of like the soundscape in this song. I think that that's like such a integral part of giving it that sort of feeling of like longing and
yeah,
being cooped up or trapped or stuck or like all those things that you might associate with this song, given like again the lyrics being the other big part of it. But it's like that moment with the guitar that I think really like sells that feeling all the way. And
absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely something that I appreciate about it.
Yeah, that like that the bridge with the guitar. That's like an example of it of something being so simple, but really it creates the. I mean, yeah, just like the intro guitar riff thing is like the pulling of teeth for me. The "da-na-na-na," that is the guitar equivalent of staring out the window,
Hmm.
being trapped inside. That's it. That
Yeah,
sums it all up to me.
absolutely.
Um, which yeah, that's brilliant work. And then like I mean we might as well talk about it here since we're talking about guitar, but this is like is this the only guitar solo on Dookie?
Yeah, yeah. The thing is I
There is.
I don't think it is actually.
It's
I
not.
do
There's
think there's another
when I
guitar
come
solo.
around,
Yeah,
there's a guitar melodic solo,
yeah.
but
I'd say that counts.
I feel like this is like the only real solo, like a solo that you would find on American Idiot or uh, later works.
Hmm.
And I mean, this kind of is where I feel like the song gets its power pop bona fides. That guitar solo is just like such, so it's just ear candy.
Hmm.
It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, you know what I love about it is it's a pretty unique solo for Billy too, and obviously it's nothing like the solos that you would get all over 39 Smooth, um, and it's not it doesn't use any of like the kind of like um, familiar sort of like structures or go-to kind of guitar licks that Billy loves to use when he's soloing, like
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
and
yeah. That's a
obviously
great
like
example.
that wouldn't fit. Like there, it's
No.
not that you would expect that to be here, but I'm just trying to make this point of like I think even within Billy's soloing throughout Green Day's discography, um, Pulling Teeth solo I wouldn't go so far as to say it stands alone, but I think it's within a small group of songs
Yeah.
where it's like, um, you know, Billy's not like soloing or playing this way as frequently. And the thing that I love about this solo especially is the way that it ends, because I think a lot of times, especially in the solos that are more like rock oriented and high octane, sometimes it feels like they kind of just peter out, or like it's you end it in a almost like a more cliched sort of way. But I feel
Uh,
like this solo wraps up so perfectly like into itself that like you could just have the solo on loop somehow, and like
yeah.
it kind of like it feels like it always like perfectly like doubles back and just like puts like a little bow on itself. um I don't know. Yeah, just the way that that wraps up, and you get like those higher some of like those, what do we call, like those pinch harmonic sort of notes, even
Uh,
like um I guess I don't have all the vocabulary for describing it, but like just definitely this idea of the way that it resolves, like as a
uh,
listener, it just sounds so correct that like
yes.
I feel like I always kind of get this like dopamine hit. I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah.
perfect. Just
Yes.
absolutely perfect way to finish that solo. I love it.
Yes. It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Like while you were saying that, what occurred to me was I feel like this solo, I think the song as a whole too, but the solo especially, it really feels like a sneak peek of like what the band starts to do on Nimrod.
Mm,
Like it's kind of like this, I mean, this higher level of songwriting or taking the songwriting seriously. I mean, we know they've always taken the songwriting seriously, but they're doing something very different on Dookie.
yeah.
Um, it feels like it would be really at home on Nimrod.
Yeah. Good
The
point.
song like Redundant or something, or
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lineage there, that that had never occurred to me before,
No,
hearing you
that's
say that.
true. Yeah. It's talking about this. I'm like, oh yeah, something like Worry Rock, or like, yeah,
Worry Rock, yes. Yep.
there definitely are some other songs that feels like that are in this sphere. And I think Nimrod is a good shout out
Yeah.
for something like
Yeah, moving over to the bass here. Kind of what are your thoughts? Obviously, the song is kind of about Mike a little bit.
that. Yeah, from what we can gather, right?
From what we can gather,
And
it's
his
about Mike.
shattered elbows.
Yeah, so the shattered elbows. What are your thoughts on the bass work here?
um, you know, I kind of wish it felt a little more present.
Yeah.
It is there, um, but I do feel like the guitar kind of dominates um, in this song in a way that there it just doesn't sound like there's as much room for Mike to have any like front and center moments. So I do think that like Mike's bass playing definitely lends this sense of warmth to the song. Like there is sort of like this fuzzy kind of undercurrent to the song that I think his bass playing really lends to. And you know, that's important for a song like this that's a little more mid-tempo and a
Yeah.
little more downtrodden. I think his bass playing like really serves that feeling, but at the same time, um, I do think that what he's actually playing kind of gets lost in a lot of the guitar work. So
Yeah,
there's
I
that.
think that's true. I mean, it also does kind of feel like a preview of the future a little bit, where Mike just is playing to the song. But I gotta say the bum 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 bum, like those moments where Mike does that on the bass,
Hmm.
that really does elevate the song. So
Hmm.
I think what he does here is it's very subtle, and yes, I do think it gets lost. But still very good. And I mean, for a guy with broken elbows, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I would.
We got to remember that.
I would love to see him play it. You know, his
Yeah.
arms are like completely backwards trying to hold the bass. You know, he did the best he could.
He did the
So
best he could with what he was given. Now we move over to Mr. Trey Cool, Connor. What are your thoughts on the drums in this song?
I think they're pretty good. This
Yeah.
is a nice um you know, restrained sort of performance. Uh I I do really like this kind of like mid-tempo driving beat to it, and I do think overall like Trey's pretty much just kind of like holding it all together, you know,
Yeah.
and obviously the drums are going to very naturally provide that kind of structure for the song to kind of grow around. I guess the moment I'd want to shout out is, you know, Trey does have like some really good buildups in the song where it'll, you know, the drums will fall out after the buildup, and you know, it's like dun 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 dun. For
Yeah.
now, lie around, you know, like, or in the very beginning, you know, he pulls the same move just before like the first verse starts, that dun 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 dun. Um, so I really like that Trey is able to punctuate those moments, so you get that impact when everything kind of comes together. But I think otherwise he's kind of just holding down the fort in this like really comforting kind of way that
Yeah.
is important for like the vibe, the feeling of the song.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once again, Trey understands the assignment. He's a good boy. Um, in a way, I mean, it would just be a very different song if Kiffmeyer played on this track. Like, I
Mm,
don't think he would try to change it fundamentally, but I think just by virtue of being him, it would be kind of like an offbeat styling of drums that like I can't really imagine that. Um, and when we get into the various like different stylistic changes that Green Day goes through, I feel like that distinction between Kiffmeyer and Trey, it gets more and more vast.
mm. Yeah, like we don't. It's one of the. It's almost like a chicken or the egg thing. I feel like, because it's like, just given the kinds of songs they were playing when Kiffmeyer was drumming, it's like you don't get the kind of variety that they grow into as they develop as a band. Um, so it's like, yeah, like would he have been able to kind of go along for the ride? Would they have even written those songs, you know, in the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
place if Meyer was in the band, or would that have just been, you know, maybe they don't even go that direction, you know?
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so who's to say? But I
Who's to say?
definitely, um, you know, Trey has fantastic range, even here on
Yeah,
Dookie. And yeah,
absolutely.
it never feels like he's trying to fit in. It never feels like he's like, oh well, you know, I'm just waiting for me to play the old punk rock drums again. Like he
No,
knows how to shift in a way that just feels very effortless and natural. Yeah.
very much. And it's like funny because he does present himself like you know, as this wacky, annoying character who is, you know, like what's the drummer from the Muppets?
Oh yeah, Animal. He's like Animal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like Animal. But I don't know. I feel like it's like obviously everyone knows modern day Trey is an extraordinary drummer, but the secret that people don't really talk about is that he kind of was always like this.
Hmm.
You know, like he actually always had that restraint. Yeah, even though he was a feral mountain child, like he always
Right.
he always knew how to play for the song.
Yeah.
So that's pretty remarkable. Not that, you know, Rob Cavallo didn't, you know, rein him in a little bit. Maybe
Yeah,
so.
maybe,
But
maybe so.
um
Maybe so.
but he always had it in him.
Mhm.
Now talking about the vocals, Connor, I think you know, Billy Joe turns in a great vocal performance again. But one of the elements that like really brings the song together, that makes it what it is, it's the harmonies here, Connor.
Mhm.
This is one of the driving elements of this song. I mean, people have long, you know, observed that there's a commonality between Billy and Mike's harmonies and the Beatles. And here, I think more than ever, or at least since the very early days, since the first album, that comparison really shines through here. The harmonies cover pretty much the entire song, and they're gorgeous.
Mhm. Yeah. And you know, I like that comparison with the Beatles because I feel like a song like Pulling Teeth does kind of have that classic sort of like an older sort of rock twang to it that
Yes,
the
yeah,
Beatles themselves you know, it's you know, it's like something like this could have been on like Rubber Soul or you know, something like that.
definitely Rubber
Um
Soul, yeah.
so that's an interesting shout out.
It kind of does feel like I mean, you know, we do bring up like, oh, Americana country, but it actually kind of feels more like a British band or the Beatles trying to kind of do an Americana thing, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I
It's like
think you're right about that because
it's
there is a bit of like it almost feels like there's like a degree of separation, like they're
absolutely there's
doing an
distance.
homage. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, and then it goes back to that old you know, description of Billy Joe's vocals of a British person trying to sound American, trying to sound British or whatever. Like it's just there's these layers of influences coming through. It's not a pure shot of like, you know, an American boy.
Mhm.
You know, it's the British influences like the Beatles and Buzzcocks and all that stuff are shining through here for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. That's it's like a funny it's almost like a kaleidoscope, like the way it like
Yeah.
fractals and
Yeah,
um
absolutely. Yeah.
so that's interesting. But yes, the harmonies really are excellent. And that's definitely gives it this sense of like soul and
Yeah.
longing and I think that's where like those somber Americana vibes that's the other big
Yeah.
half of it, you know, that's it does kind of feel like there's these sort of like a down home heartache to it.
Yes, and harmonies were, you know, back in the early days, like harmonies like that were big parts of like American folk music or like,
Mhm.
you know, like early country stuff.
Mhm.
So I think that's totally it's right there. And also again with the Nimrod thing, with the Nimrod comparison, a song like Scattered,
Mhm.
which you know these two songs are pretty different, but the harmonies have similar functions where you know essentially the whole song is a harmony.
Mhm.
And I love like for me like I'd be happy if every song was like that, but it really makes it special, you know, when once in a while we get a song where it's just Mike and Billy singing the entire thing together.
Yeah.
um those moments are awesome.
No, agreed. And I think especially to great effect in the chorus here. Yeah, just
Yeah,
the harmony of like um or I don't know if it's the post chorus but it's like, for now lie around, hell,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
all
Yeah.
I can really do. Like,
Yeah.
those moments, it feels like it really typifies like just exactly how um like blended their vocals are to kind of create that effect. So yeah,
Absolutely.
really, really exceptional stuff on display here. 100%.
Absolutely. Connor, anything you want to cover about these individual parts before we kind of talk about the lyrics and get into some of that?
Are we gonna talk more about Billy's performance as we go through the lyrics, or is this kind of what we're doing here? Because I might just shout out, just I don't know, like even throughout the verses. I don't know. I just really really love. It feels like there's like this harmonic sort of emphasis on the last words of like a lot of the lyrics here, like I'm all busted up, and
Yeah.
um just the way that yeah, like carries through the whole song. um I don't know, is really great. Like Billy's singing here is um kind of at like a lower register, and I think that he really leans into um creating this feeling of melancholy with the way that he sings. And I think just like given the way that the song's structured and everything around it, like it's like how else would you sing it? Like
Yeah, very much so.
it's very natural that like all of these performances would come together, but it's the collaboration, it's like the way they coalesce that everything just kind of enhances the other part. And yeah, I just love Billy's delivery all over the place on this song. So that's the
Yeah.
only other thing I'd throw out there.
No, same here. And actually, this is kind of a good segue into the lyrics because I feel like this is a great example of like Billy really singing. We talk about drumming for the song or playing bass for the song, but he's really here. He is singing for the song. He's not the snotty punk in the song. He is the the melancholy kind of battered up lover.
Hmm.
The melancholic lover here that really shines through in his vocal performance. Um, which is yeah, I think one of the biggest examples now of or so far of him like really singing in character, I guess.
Hmm.
Which which is great. But yeah, jumping into these lyrics, Connor, do you want to start us off with a song?
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Just tell me the words I
Words
might
I
have
might have
known.
known,
The
the
words I
words
might
I
have
might have
known.
known,
The
the
words I
words
might
I
have
might have
known.
known. All right, Connor, are there any lyrics that you should have known in Pulling Teeth?
So looking at the Green Day Genius.com lyrics for Pulling Teeth, as we always do,
Yes, good old
um,
genius.
good old Genius. This is a song that I guess because I've loved it as like dearly as I have for so long, um, I I do know all the words for it, except the one thing is that in the chorus, the line on Genius here, it says, "I better tell her that I love her." I always sing it as "I'm gonna tell her that I love
Oh,
her."
okay.
So my only switch here is from gonna to better.
Yeah,
But
all right.
I do think that's kind of uh, it is a switch that matters
It does
because
count, yeah.
it I think the whole like I better tell her that I love her kind of sells um some of like the apprehension and the anxiety that this character is feeling in the
Yeah.
relationship. Like, oh fuck, I really better tell her this before it gets any worse.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah,
So I
for
was like,
my
oh,
sake.
that right. I was like, that makes sense. And that's my only tweak to make for this song.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a significant yeah, very, very minor, but at the same time, significant change. I've always saying it the correct way, but who knows? It's possible that Billy Joe is saying it your way from time to time. It's all within the realm of possibility. Now, kind of diving into the lyrics here, as a whole, we talked about before how this song really does describe kind of an abusive relationship. And I think the anecdote that, oh, Billy Joe is kind of doing this tongue in cheek about Mike and his girlfriend's pillow fight that ended up
Mhm.
with broken elbows.
Mhm.
I think that does kind of sell this song a little bit short. Because while it is tongue in cheek a little bit, I think it's also taken seriously within the universe of the song itself. I think it's another good example of Billy painting a picture of I think a position that a lot of people can relate to being in, unfortunately.
Mhm. Yeah, the other thing too is like talking about the lyrics and everything. Like, we keep coming back to this phrasing or this description of like an abusive relationship, and I think that like the kind of abuse, if that's the word we're going to use, that this song is describing is like very different than what you might otherwise conjure up, like hearing that kind of terminology.
Yeah.
And it's not to like, um, I don't know, make light of like I guess the situation within this song, but I kind of always took it as um almost almost like this kind of playful dynamic. Like, I don't necessarily think of the character as um feeling like they're just trapped or like just stuck or just beaten down so they can't escape. um I think that this song sort of describes, I think, almost like this two-way street of like both I think both people in the relationship uh are kind of maybe codependent and like maybe
Oh yeah,
not
for sure.
perfect, and not that this song like paints the narrator in any negative light, but I guess what I mean is I've always kind of gotten the idea that it's like, yes, they're in this relationship with this person who kind of clearly, again, I guess we'll say is abusive. But I think it's like one of those things where like I think it's meant to be a little bit endearing. I think that there's kind of this idea um that it's like part of the dynamic of these characters' relationship, not just that this person is like downtrodden and stuck within an abusive relationship.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about that. And I think we have to kind of realize that, hey, the 90s was a very different time. Um where, looking at it through a 2024 lens is kind of damning, cuz I mean, I think it can be interpreted as kind of tongue in cheek, or kind of like a 70s kind of sitcom-y relationship where maybe the wife beats up the husband and then there's a laugh track behind it.
Yeah, a little bit
Um,
like that, I think. Yeah.
I think that is definitely in there. And obviously the originating incident is a pillow fight, so very sitcom in its origin as well. But then I've also kind of read, and it does kind of ring true to me, like there's this thought that, oh, maybe this was based on the movie and the book Misery, the Stephen King novel that was adapted to a movie with Kathy Bates and who's the guy who plays. Have you seen that movie,
I
Misery?
haven't seen it. No, I only know Kathy Bates is in it. I don't know who plays the writer.
I
But
think
I
it's
know the
James
the
Caan,
plot.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good movie. But so that could also be inspiration there. And obviously that's a very different situation than a sitcom fun,
Yeah.
you know, violence as a gag. Like it's kind of, I mean, it does kind of feel like, in sitcoms or TV shows, though, it's always funny when the girl slaps the guy. That
Mhm.
is always played for a laugh. The reverse is not. And
Right.
I mean, there's just historical reasons for that, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I
And
mean,
I think too, it's like, yeah, talking about the context of when this song was written, um, the time in which it came out. Um, I I I I guess it is more so just that, like, yes, I think if you look at this from a 2024 lens, you could come at it in a way where you're like, well, this feels kind of uncomfortable. But I don't think the song is meant to be taken that way.
no,
I,
no,
I
I don't
don't
think so either.
and like this I like this song is not in my mind. I don't think it's about an abusive relationship, and I don't think Billy set out to write a song in which he's trying to like tackle the very real issue of abuse in a relationship. Like I think that Billy just kind of uses that as sort of like this vague backdrop to tell this much more intimate story about these two characters and um the ways in which like they impact the other, and that
Yeah,
there is sort of like this half comical, half sad sort of like aspect to like where the narrator of the song sort of finds himself. And I think that that's sort of where that like sullen melancholy kind of feeling is supposed to come from. Like you feel bad
definitely.
for this
Yeah,
character, but I think
sure.
at the same time, like I think you're just kind of meant to be like, well, he's a bit of a chump too, right? Like,
Yes, he's the titular chump.
yeah.
Which I mean, again, like I think you hit the nail on the head with the codependence, Connor. I think I really feel like it is kind of a tongue in cheek look at kind of this sad sack in a codependent relationship. Um, and Lord knows we've all been there. Lord knows.
Right,
Um,
we're not above anything, we're
no,
just
no.
pointing out what we see, dear
Exactly.
listener.
Connor, any lines in here you wanted to pinpoint and talk about by
Yeah,
themselves? Because there's some good ones here. There are.
there's definitely some good lines here. I just am really fond of that first line in the chorus. Is she ultra violent? Is she disturbed? Um I don't know. I just really love the use of ultra violent as a
Yeah.
term within the lyrics here. I'm like, man, such a kind of unique and interesting like descriptor to just throw into the chorus there that I don't definitely gives it kind of like a unique sort of charm. I really like
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it makes you think a little bit of like Clockwork Orange,
it. Yeah.
and then is she disturbed? I'm like, is she down with the sickness? Is
Right.
she
Yes. Is that why Slipknot gravitated to this song
exactly? It
the way that
keeps
they
coming
did?
back
Maybe.
to it keeps coming back to metal or new metal or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call that genre. It's all there. Not to lump Metallica in with those guys, but um, obviously that's not the intent. But it is it is kind of like a funny. It's kind of like a funny relationship that this song
Yeah.
uh coincidentally has with that genre of music.
Yeah.
Um, and then accidents will happen, but this time I can't get up.
Hmm.
That feels like maybe it's a direct reference to the Mike incident,
So yeah, I guess so.
right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, she takes good care of me. Just keep saying my love is true. That's another great one.
Hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
that really does get into the whole codependence of the situation
Hmm.
of the relationship, Or I mean, I guess in 2024 lens, maybe you'd call that a situationship, right? Am I right? That's what they'd call it these days, you know.
Right, yeah. Are you right? Yeah, it's like maybe you are right. Maybe.
Maybe I'm right. I don't know what that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a thing they say these days. So you know.
As
Um,
I look at the lyrics, I really think that we could kind of you could really pull out any. I do think this is just
yeah,
a very very well written song with some very um, charming and cutting lyrics, and you know there's some good wordplay in here. Like I like the line like "Oh God, she's killing me." Like kind of feels like you get the sort of double meaning of you know you like obviously like you're strung out like oh man like she's killing
yeah.
me and then like literally like this person's being like physically worn down over time like he
That's
just
very
might
much.
die.
That's very much a '70s sitcom line too.
Yeah,
You know. Oh God, she's killing me. You know.
yeah.
Like, you can see. You can
Yeah, so
see.
I
What's his name? Don. What's his face? Don
yeah, you
Rickles
know,
saying that or
Don,
something.
exactly, you know,
Good
we
old
all
Don.
know Don.
Um, Connor, anything else you wanted to point out before we move on to some the segments here?
um No, I mean, I guess, man, I don't know. The only other thing I'll throw out there is I just love the whole for now lie around. Hell, that's all I can really do. She takes good care of me. Just keep saying my love is true. Uh, Great lines, and I like the simplicity of the rhyme scheme, and I just
Yeah,
always feel like this is such like a satisfying song to sing along to. And as I look at the lyrics, I'm like, man, you know, it all just works.
absolutely agreed. All right. So Connor, you can help me out with this tune. It's a little song that goes something like this. Warning, live without
Have we
warning.
heard this song? Have we heard this song?
All right. So obviously we have heard this song twice at least this past summer on the Saviors tour where we heard Dookie in its entirety. But prior to this, Connor, the other 22 and 12 concerts respectively that we've seen the boys perform, had we heard Pulling Teeth live?
I do not think so. I can say for myself, I had not heard Pulling Teeth live before um, the Saviors tour. I don't know if you have. It's possible that you have, but I am certain that I had not.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy one. No, we neither of us had heard this song live prior to the Saviors tour, which is this was one of the greatest treats of the night, I think,
Hmm.
on that tour. Um, because yeah, very, very, very rarely pulled out. The very rare they very rarely pull out those teeth, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Um, so no, I mean, and it's another one where there's so many on this album that I'm like, well, that would be cool if they just added that to the set every now and then, you know. So maybe things will change a little bit after this tour. Maybe they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I loved playing that song. We should just throw it in there sometimes.
It's possible.
Yeah. Anything's possible. Next up, we visit the seedy underbelly of the worldwide interwebs. Let's take a look at the anti-social media.
We are.
Okay, so a lot of people do know the lore behind this song, and you know, this is a one of those songs that I feel like if it was on 39 Smooth or Kerplunk, people wouldn't really be talking too much about it. But we're on Dookie now, and so the conversation is happening here. We go to Reddit first. Mr. Potatodo says it's about an abusive relationship. Um, and this is actually just this guy is just explaining to Mr. Potatodo that no, it's not. It's actually about a pillow fight between Mike and his ex, where Mike broke both of his elbows. And then they explained the Metallica connection. So a bit boring. We'll move on. Next up, we have Victim of Ebola, which is a great username. This is from 9 years ago when I feel like there was an Ebola outbreak during Obama's term. Remember that?
I don't.
There was a very, I think, so maybe that's what this is referencing. Maybe
Could
they
be.
were a victim of Ebola. I'm not sure what the survival rate is, but anyways, they say very underrated. This over basket case all day.
Wow, hot take.
Yeah.
And I love pulling teeth, but I would not be making any bold proclamations like pulling teeth over basket case.
Yeah,
I just don't think I can agree with that.
No, I mean if you put pulling teeth in basket case is in place of basket case, I don't think that pulling teeth would have had as much success as a single. That is for sure. Next up, we have Renee Marie D. Renee says, "Let's face it, Blink can't even touch this, no matter how hard they've tried all these years. 90s Green Day rules." I said 90s Green Day. And so this is kind of a question I have here because there's a few comments that I've seen like talking about Blink.
Okay.
They're like not saying that the song is like Blink, but for some reason they want to bring a Blink in the discussion here. Can you pinpoint that? Is there anything Blinkish about this song to you?
No. I don't think of Blink 182 at all when I hear pulling teeth. And as far
No.
as I know, I don't really think that Blink 182 has like been chasing, like trying to make their answer to pulling teeth. Like, so I don't get it with this song specifically. I wonder if it's just kind of like is maybe pulling teeth is kind of just caught in the crossfire
Yeah.
and throughout like the Dookie discussion, like this is kind of gonna be like one of the big Green Day albums that people hold up as like it's sort of like the great chess checkers sort of
Oh,
schism
yes.
where I don't think you need to pick a side, but if you feel like a side has to be chosen, you know, between the great pop punk acts of the '90s, like Blink and Green Day are kind of like the chess checkers of that discussion.
Absolutely. You're right about that. I think it is just kind of some crossfire in that battle. Um, next up we have Rye Marquez 5, and they go into more depth on this whole Mike pillow fight situation. They say
Let's
the
hear it.
story is that Mike was in a pillow fight with his girlfriend, chased her around the house, hit a pillar or a wall in the house, and hurt his elbows. Not sure if it was a fracture or what. And Billy laughed the whole ambulance ride to the hospital. Billy wrote that song that night, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody else. So they're saying that Billy Joe was on the ride to the hospital with Mike. He
Yeah.
laughed the entire ride there.
Yeah.
And then he wrote this song that very night.
Yeah.
Um,
I love how you could just say whatever you want and then go,
I
hey,
know.
correct me if I'm wrong. like
Yeah, right.
like someone else is gonna know, like,
I love these stories where they just like there's like a vague story behind the song, and like fans just like they fill in the blanks with their imagination, and then they present it as like the actual legitimate version of the story,
yeah. All the
like
time. All the time.
all the
Yeah.
time. And it's because like they themselves they believe that that's the truth,
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, either they heard it from someone else or you know they almost like trick themselves like however it starts whatever it is like I agree that I don't think this is just some weird attempt to spread misinformation but like you it just kind of feels like if there was even just one follow-up question to this person it's like I don't think they would be able to answer you at all and it's
No,
like so then why are we just pretending like we know these things. Why do you think you know that Billy was was there and was laughing the whole way to
on
the
the ambulance
hospital?
ride.
Like,
That's just some very very funny fan fiction that you have dreamt up yourself. Um, next up we have Joshua Dude from Reddit. Joshua says, "I'm honestly surprised to report this was the best song I've ever heard live, and I can't count how many concerts I've been to, including the Stones. That is all. Wow.
It's high praise.
That's very high praise. Obviously, this is from 4 months ago on the Saviors tour, so he was blown away by Pulling Teeth in particular.
Yeah.
Just goes to show that, I mean, one man's trash. Not saying it's trash to anybody, but I just feel like there was a very small percentage of people who were like, "Oh, I'm blown away by this song live." Like,
Right. Yeah.
but
Suck
it's
it,
cool.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, exactly. Start me up. No thanks. Pulling teeth. Um, next up we have Star Lord and the Av, which is that's funny because it's kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy Green Day crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Star Lord's the main guy in that movie, right?
Yeah. No, he sure is.
Yeah. Star Lord says, I feel bad because Billy talked so much shit on Slipknot back when Warning came out. BJA seemed pretty bitter around that time, but he doesn't seem that way anymore. Corey's favorite band ever is Green Day. Same with his son. And some of the other Slipknot members and their families. Most of them are diehard GD fans. So apparently there was some beef back in the day between Slipknot and Green Day.
Yeah, I wonder what the truth of that is. I guess I could see it. More so just like Billy kind of firing off about the landscape of like
Yes.
popular rock at the time. Like,
I think that's exactly it. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I think Billy did talk a lot of shit about bands kind of in the new metal sphere of influence. Not that Slipknot's a new metal band. I don't think they are, but maybe they are a little bit. I don't really know, but
I think they are, but
they are. Okay.
for some people, new metal is kind of like a loaded term, but I
Sure.
think they are. So,
Well, I know he was very critical about them and Limp Bizkit and whatever. And then, over the years, he's kind of drawn that back. But so sorry, Corey. Hopefully you didn't get your feelings too hurt.
yeah, for all we know, they might have just talked it out.
Yeah, hopefully they hugged it out. Next up we have Deceased Duck from 5 years ago. Deceased Duck says, then he had to get his tooth pulled out to stick it in his arm and heal it. So that's the origin of the song title.
That makes sense. And I heard that Billy was laughing the whole time. He was
It was actually Billy's tooth. It was actually Billy's tooth that was pulled.
It was Billy's tooth. That's why he has those janky ass teeth,
Exactly. It was used to heal Mike's broken elbows.
The doctor was looking at the X-ray and they said, you know what? It's the way that your elbow's shattered. There's just a perfect opening that could be fit with a tooth.
There's a tooth-sized fracture, and then he looks over at Billy, and then Billy's like, what? Why are you looking at me? And then the doctor's like, I've got an idea.
Yep. And then Billy was laughing the whole time.
He was
laughing the whole time
as his mouth bled out. Yeah. And that's the part of the story that the other guy didn't care to tell us.
Yeah, no, we had to correct him.
Yeah,
correct him because he was wrong.
To be fair, he was open to.
He was asking for it. So, he asked to be corrected. So
yeah, so he shouldn't mind too much. Next up, we have Willie Josh 3569. Willie Josh says, "TBH, this song is a Green Day staple. I don't know why they waited until 2013 to play it live. So, but it's a song I've had sex to. TBH, this Green Day song is one of the Green Day song is one of their greats, especially in Dookie. I don't know why they never did a music video for this. It would have been fucking amazing. TBH, especially if Green Day did it, but like literally not even a fan-made music video is made for this song. This is an outrage."
Wow, you ever hear about like being too honest? Like, I think this guy is like a little too much TBH right now.
I was gonna say, TBH, more like TMI,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I don't really feel like this is a good song to have sex to,
yeah. No, I
but
mean
that could just be me. I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of. I guess there are certain sexual relationships that maybe this is appropriate for, but in that case, I mean, they're like blood, sex, and booze might be a bit more appropriate,
yeah. And there's
a
I don't
bit
know,
more fitting.
but to be honest, like even the Green Day songs about sex, um, in my mind, like I don't really feel like there's a single Green Day song where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'd really want to fuck to this song. Like
I would feel very weird.
I don't really want to have sex to Green Day at all.
It would be
So
very strange. I would not like it. I think actually, if I was in the act, in the process of it happening,
right.
and a Green Day song like came on in like shuffle or something, I would stop and change it.
Yeah, you would
I think I would.
right.
It
This
would.
can't be playing right now. I'm sorry.
It's too weird for me.
Yeah.
Next up we have Abraham Monte Carlo 9161. Abraham says, this song has some vibes of something like proud of being Texan or proud for being born in the soils of the past cowboys of the Old West. This song reminds me of when I was watching through my car's window the whole Texan desert when I was in Texas. Did anyone have the same feeling I got with this song? Texan feeling.
Wow. Oh man. Dude. What a Texan feeling.
It just gives me so much pride for being a Texan.
Did fucking Hank Hill write this comment? Like, wow.
I mean, I like, maybe if you don't listen to the lyrics, and maybe I don't really, maybe if the only time he's heard this song is the video when Billy plays it with the cowboy hat on,
Yeah.
then I can kind of see that. But yeah, that's very strange. I don't know. Proud for being born in the soils of the past cowboys of the Old West.
No, that is
Crazy.
that. I mean, wow. Like, what a like elevated poetic sentence just to like casually throw into this bizarre YouTube comment. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, it feels like you could be reading like an old Western novel. And
I
like
know.
that line would be there in like the opening pages. I'd be like, damn, that's some good writing. Like you hear
Yeah,
that.
I know exactly.
So
Oh, very strange.
that's pretty crazy. That was a pretty crazy comment.
Next up, we have I Rogue Genoa Liz 3195. They say, I relate to this song a lot. I never had the courage to tell this one girl how much I like her and that I want to make her mine. PPQ2ZB says, that's not what the song is about. Second Coming of Bass 9908 says, if this song puts you in mind of her, maybe it's better you didn't.
Yeah.
So just some advice for you. Maybe you're barking up the wrong tree there. Next up we have Acid Critana 3406. They say men need to get their abuse recognized too. That's why Green Day is so lit.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of waiting for this comment.
Yeah.
And the
That's
thing
why
is,
Green
it's
Day's
like
so lit.
I don't think it's wrong. I think that it is the consequence of a modern day reading applied to a
Yeah.
song that wasn't really meant to be actually carrying that message. I don't believe, but that's fine, because that's like kind of what art interpretation is all about. And
That's exactly it. Yeah. Things change
I think
meaning
that
over
that's
time.
there. I think that idea is there and it's in this song. I just think it's a result of our modern day mindset applied to a song from 1994.
Yeah. Many such cases.
That's okay. Yeah.
Nettled Ned Flanders 5736 says, is it weird that this sounded sexual for some reason? Lemon Cream replies, they say, sounds like femdom to me.
Great. Yeah. Great.
Again, modern interpretations of of old songs.
Yeah. Although, Green Day is kind of a little bit into that, like that,
Yes, but it wasn't called
which we have talked
femdom back
about.
then.
No.
It was BDSM or dominatrix or
Yes.
whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, that's. I mean, I guess you could kind of see this maybe as like the origin of their interest in that kind of lifestyle. I guess if you
Yeah.
really want to go there.
Yeah. Look, it is funny to think about because I don't generally think of Pulling Teeth within the group of songs like Dominated Love Slave or Blood,
No,
Sex, and Booze. And yet, looking at it from that angle, there is something to it.
there's
There
something
is
to it.
something to it. I do think you can kind of parse that out.
Yeah, it's true. Strawberry Cough Drop 7650 says, "My kind of woman."
All right.
Hell yeah, buddy. Hell
Comments
yeah.
are getting hornier and
They
hornier.
are getting hornier. We got a couple left. Geek Stink Breath 123 from 12 years ago says, "Abuse, abuse. How dare that lady abuse Billy Joe?"
That's right.
I mean, very, I really appreciate this person going to bat for Billy Joe, but then they have like a million comments saying, this song is actually about Mike being abused."
Yeah. That's comment sections are so funny because you just make one assumption or say one slightly incorrect thing, and you just get dogpiled by a
Yes.
whole bunch of like self-righteous heads up their asshole nerd losers. Like,
Yes.
actually.
You get the Green Day SJWs out on your
Yeah.
ass. Or not Social Justice Warrior, MJW, Mike Justice Warriors.
Yes, that's right.
Just a very important faction of the Green Day army. All right, last but not least, we have Angie Follett 2938. Angie says, "Thought a lot about this song in the Depp versus Heard trial."
Oh, didn't think about that at all. But
Yeah,
that's
well,
kind of a fascinating connection to make there.
You're just not tuned in enough. That was I mean, you weren't watching the coverage of the trial and blasting Pulling Teeth on repeat.
Yeah, no, I now it's like it throws it into sharp relief. It feels like I missed that connection the whole time, but I get where this commenter's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's applicable. I do kind of feel like the that case was maybe a little bit more involved. Maybe not maybe you can't boil it down to Pulling Teeth, but I'm actually not very clued in on the trial. Don't actually know who's in the right or wrong there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that there was very much a definitive consensus. It's a little bit chess and checkers where I think people kind of already had their mind made up like before anything even happened. And so I think ultimately like the sides, I don't think that the battle lines shifted very much. Although things have not been as great for Johnny Depp lately. So, I guess
True.
do with that what you will.
True.
I'm not really sure myself.
He plays in a rock band though, right?
He I think so.
The Vampires or something. The Vampires
Wow.
of rock and roll.
Is that really what it's called?
It's
a horrible fucking band name.
No, it's something to do with the vampires. That's not exactly it, but so I wonder if he's ever covered Pulling Teeth.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he got inspired by his friend Corey Taylor.
That's right.
All right, Connor, that is it for the comments. Who wins the comment of the episode? A lot of great contenders.
I wrote down two that
right.
I liked out of the bunch. So the first one was from Deceased Duck. with
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole tooth in the elbow.
Oh, that's so good.
Um,
Yeah.
I just thought that really got a fucking kick out of me. They were, and my favorite part about the comment is it just starts with then. Like
Yes,
the comment
Connor,
just says, then they put the tooth in the elbow. I was
exactly.
like, holy shit.
And it's not in response to anything. It's
Right.
just a rogue comment.
Yeah. No.
It's incredible.
That I would say is a strong contender. And the other one I'm going to throw up there is the Texan feeling comments.
Oh my God. Fuck.
The heart and soul of a true Texan cowboy, born in
Cowboys of
Texan
yesteryear.
soil,
I know.
born in the soil of cowboys past.
God.
Yeah, no,
They're
it's up
both
to you. It's
incredible.
up to you, buddy.
They're both
Those are my
incredible.
two. So I don't know.
I gotta go with Deceased Duck though, with
Nice.
for the two, because that fills in a lot of blanks
Yeah.
in this story, this Green Day lore that we've been waiting, because we know it was a pillow fight between Mike and
Mhm.
his girlfriend. We know Billy Joe laughed the entire way to the hospital.
Yeah, that's
We know he
on
wrote a
record.
song about it that night, and now we know why his teeth are so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a gift to Green Day fans all over the world. It's a little bit of history uncovered. So
Yeah.
thank you, Deceased Duck. You win the comment of the episode award. Contact us some way, somehow, to claim your prize. You will be rewarded handsomely. That is the Green Dudes promise.
We might have to contact them. We might need like a Ouija board or something to
Yes, actually,
reach out to like the duck afterlife.
they are deceased. I mean, do they sell duck Ouija boards? Are they like
All right, just specifically for
Yeah.
waterfowl.
made of old beaks or something?
Yeah, we'll have to look into
Bills?
it.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, reach out, or we'll reach out to you, either or maybe we just wait until we're all dead and in heaven,
Yeah,
and
get your prize then.
get your prize then. Connor, anything you wanted to say or bring up before we wrap it up for the evening?
No, I don't think so. Another, good talk, and it was fun to kind of dig deep, dig deep down through the Texan
Yes.
soil to get
Yes,
to
absolutely.
the core of this song. A song that we've loved for a long time, and I do think it's an underrated song. So I'm glad it's gotten its due on Green Dudes.
Absolutely. And I think, Connor, I kind of feel like both of us are honorary cowboys now. We can
Yeah.
claim that title.
Just gonna start saying howdy to people. See how they
Howdy, partner.
Yeah, you can say that now.
There's a snake in my boot.
All right. Okay.
Anyways, folks, get ready for the next episode, because we're covering, God, I mean, some people might say the biggest Green Day song of all time. And they wouldn't be wrong. It's up for debate here. We're talking Basket Case next.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking madness. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'll ever be ready, truly.
No.
But we are going there. So get ready. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at Green Dudes Pod on both Twitter and Instagram. You can email us at greendudespod@gmail.com with any of your comments, questions, or concerns. Please log into the podcast app, the Apple Podcast app, and leave us a nice review, along with a 5-star rating. That would be swell. Just from one cowboy to another, do us a solid, or whatever they called that in the cowboy days. An old tip of the cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, also want to say, if you're not aware, we have been doing video podcasts, so you can find all of the video episodes on youtube.com/@corruptedtv. But the TV is spelled TEEVEE. Or you can just search Green Dudes Podcast on YouTube. You can find us that way. So that's been very, very fun. You can see our dumb old faces on the screen. But most importantly, folks, until next time,
Stay punk. And y'all come back now, you hear?
Yeehaw! All right, there we go. That was good. I would say 2 thumbs up, and I'm holding the microphone. All right, now we're going to end the stream.